at the North American Guitar in London, a fantastic world-class retailer of high-end guitars. And this is the Boutique Guitar Showcase Tour. Guitars here from Steve Klein and Ulrich Teufel and Michael Spalt, which people have heard about maybe for decades and have never had a chance to put their hands on. I think the youngest guitar maker who's part of the tour right now is about 23 years old, Max Bohn from Germany, one of Raymond Kraut's apprentices. The show is really about what guitar makers are doing today.
Here we have a guitar made by Doug Cower, an American luthier, who, as funny as it sounds, makes an American guitar. So here we have an Italian builder by the name of Enrico Di Donato from just outside of Venice. He makes a guitar that I don't think you'll see anywhere else in the world. So this one here is made by Rainer Tausch from Germany. This guitar might just look like a Telecaster to you, but Telecaster it is not.
From the very first guitar, the modern guitar comes from Antonio Torres, and he's responsible for both the concert classical guitar and the flamenco guitar. Two very different approaches to playing the guitar right from the start, and so that has continued to evolve. And so there's about 35 guitars here from I think about 28 guitar makers from all around the world. Acoustic, electric, bass, archtop, try and represent as much as we can. They have to be unique in themselves, but they also have to be a part of the overall picture of what we're trying to paint.
It's been an amazing event, yeah. Boutique Guitar Showcase, the second time they've come to the UK. We've known Jamie and the team for a while now. Amazing, amazing company, showing great support for new luthiers, established luthiers. It's a great chance for us to showcase and try out new brands, new guitars, and see what they've got on offer.
So we all know Gareth gets the best jobs around here.
He does. So let's take a look at his visit to the ATB Guitar Lounge in Cheltenham.
All right, Mike, how are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Hi, Gareth. Good to see you. Thanks very much for coming over.
Oh.
Welcome to ATB Guitars.
What a pleasure. This is fantastic.
We have the ESs, Switchmasters, the Les Pauls, Les Paul Juniors, Cherry ES thin line guitars.
Yeah, lovely row of red there, isn't it?
Stratocasters, Telecasters. This one is an exceedingly rare custom colour, custom Telecaster from 1965, factory finished in fire mist gold.
Wow, it's gorgeous.
I've always liked vintage guitars, and I guess one of the pivotal moments for me at university was when Cheap Trick came to play. I was on the university Ents committee, and I had access to backstage, and Rick Nilsson was there, the guitarist from Cheap Trick, who brought with him a raft of guitars, vintage Fender, Blackguards, Strats, Carina Vs, 59 Les Pauls, and he was very kind. He took the time to show me his collection, explained what everything was, and
he brought all those guitars for one gig? Just
for one university gig, yeah. Nice. About 30 of them, and I couldn't believe it. But I think from that moment I was hooked, and that became my passion.
So what was the first vintage guitar that you bought then? I
think the first vintage guitar, again at Leicester, was a 59 Les Paul Junior, which I bought for the princely sum of £325.
And the Juniors weren't actually that popular back then, were they?
No, they weren't. No, everyone was after the Les Paul Strats, so the Juniors were relatively affordable.
Moving down here, we've got these gorgeous gold tops, and what year are these?
One on the right is a 1956, and one on the left is a 1953.
Feels fantastic.
So from 1999, I've been doing guitars almost exclusively, and I've been doing it from my front room and from a storage unit.
Not the most practical way of doing it,
No, not at all. And as my thirst and enthusiasm for guitars grew, and my collection grew as well, it just became totally impractical to carry on like this. So a year ago, I started looking for new premises. Then all of a sudden, this came on the market. I had a bit of a battle for it, but eventually I got it and moved in straight away.
And over here we've got a nice Firebird What year was this?
1964.
This is like its original. Tell us about this one.
Yes, original 60s Gibson Flying V's are very rare guitars. It is the same type of guitar that was played by Hendrix, Mark Bolan and Leslie West, who had a couple of these. And this particular example is the only one known in existence to have a factory black painted headstock on batch 4. This is a 1963 one family owner Stratocaster, finished in original Olympic
Gorgeous,
white.
I'm gonna have to try this one out. Wow, it plays like a dream. Wouldn't know that that was 50 years old. This is phenomenal. Well worth the money, well worth the investment. Love it. Mike, can I take it home?
No.
Right, so over the last 12 months, and while speaking to Mike from ATB Guitars, I've seriously been considering starting a collection myself. I mean, you don't get much for your money in the bank these days, so why not buy a guitar, right? But I need some advice.
Well, we've got Ben Morgan here with us today, and Ben's one of Britain's youngest and most successful collectors. And your collection is just getting bigger and bigger. So tell us, how did you get started?
I got started about 5 years ago with this 1932 National Stylo. Me and my dad have been watching Mark Knopfler on TV talking about his guitar collection. So we went down to Denmark Street, and a couple of beers later we ended up walking around Soho with this in a case. And then the whole story was born, really.
Nice. So that was the first guitar. What were the next ones you bought?
It was these two, the 54 and the 52 Les Paul. I was looking for a 54 for about a year. I wanted one to add to my collection. Saw the 52 on an Instagram post from Vintage and Rare in Bath, and this was hiding in the background behind it, and spoke to them, went down to try out the 54 and came back with the 52 and the 54 because that one just sounds insane. Well, I mainly collect Gibsons, as we can see behind us. I do collect other stuff, Epiphones, Fenders, Gretches. I mainly look for player grade guitars because the museum quality and the mint stuff out there, if it hasn't been played for 60 years, there's probably a reason behind it. And also, with a player grade guitar, you can play it. You know, it doesn't have to sit in its case or behind a bit of glass, so it can be an investment piece. You can go out there and play it.
I feel the same way. If I was to spend this kind of money, I'd want to be able to play it, session with it. Yeah, definitely. And we always actually see you at guitar shows. Is that a really good place to get started?
It is a good place to get started. There's lots of really reputable people there. I do them all. But no, when I first started out, I actually went to the big dealers. All these three guitars came from dealers because I didn't fully know what I was looking for at that point. I didn't know about the screws and everything individual on it, and those guys generally know what they're talking about, so I went there. If you are collecting for an investment purposes, you've obviously got to look into prices, what's going up and what's going down. If you are looking, it's basically like playing the stock market, but with guitars. But I'm a player as well, so I do buy things to add to the collection that are for playing purposes. Like this is an R9, that's an R8 there. It's the closest I can get to a burst personally at the minute.
What's this one, sorry?
Oh, that's from 1976. That's a Les Paul recording. That's what Les Paul played until the end, basically. He loved that. It's just clean machine.
Well, it doesn't sound as simple as just buying a guitar online, does it? Do you have to do a lot of research?
I would definitely not just buy guitars online myself. I do look online all the time for things, but then I go and I try the guitars out before I buy them.
Why'd you do that? Is there a chance of getting stung?
Absolutely a chance of getting stung. It can look perfect on the outside, and you open up the cavity and you see a little Chinese mark in there, and because they can make them that well now, you can see a burst and it can look exactly like a burst, but it's just not, because there are things inside that are wrong.
So, I guess speaking on the budget side of things, do you have to have a certain amount to start this game, or can you?
Absolutely not. Again, if you win the lottery, then go ahead and buy yourself a burst and have a good time. But for the rest of us that don't have £250,000 to spend on a guitar, you know, you can buy the old 50s European-made guitars. Hofner are a great place to start, but you know, and then you're talking that under £1,000 mark, and you can have yourself 50s and 60s guitars really easily.
Cool. Well, before you go, is there any last bits of wisdom you can give us for a budding collector out there?
The bit of wisdom I would say is honestly do your research. Do not get burned, because that's the worst thing ever, is to If you took your guitar to a luthier, you just spent, I don't know, 10 grand on an old 50s Les Paul, and then they go, this is a fake. And then you've got firewood and a big hole in your bank account.
Well, that's all for this week.
And we hope you'll be with us next time when we've got UK Country Award winners Backwards Creek in the studio.
We also have the amazing electroacoustic guitar and basses from Gjylaci Guitars.
And top collector Barry Gaskell's coming along. He's got some really cool country guitars he's going to show us.
So to play us out, we've got the amazing Jon Gjylaci. See you next week.